All right, my finals MVP draft. Number one pick.
Kobe Light.
We were just talking about him. Kobe Light, Devin Booker. I think he has to be the number one pick. I think that's the safest finals team by far. They are plus 120 on FanDuel. I'd be surprised if they didn't make the finals. In the East, you could make a case for 5 teams. I really like 3, but I would accept the case for 5. In the West, I think it's Phoenix, and they're going to have home court. They're really good. They're motivated from last year. It's a 2014 Spurs. A lot of the same narratives. Chris, your guy. It's all sitting there for him right now. And Booker's the best player in the team and the most likely candidate to win finals MVP. That is my pick, Devin Booker.
Yeah, he's the only pick. Now I'm worried because this can go in a bunch of ways and go bad. By the way, Phoenix is 32-9 on the road. Their road winning percentage is better than any team's winning percentage.
Did you see the Boston road stuff?
Which part?
For the season, they're like 7.8 plus 7.8 on the road. It's like the second highest in the history of the Celtics franchise. Grandy was tweeting some of it. They're an amazing road team.
Grandy had something where they have had 20-point leads in 19 games on the road.
Yeah. Now, some of it, there's been situations like Memphis. Normally, that's going to be an impossible game, and they play them today, and Memphis is throwing it away, right? They had a Brooklyn game where nobody played. They had, there's probably 4 that they just lucked out because of the schedule. But for the most part, they've been really good on the road, and I can't fully explain it.
Okay, all right. So if Booker's the best pick here, and he's going to put up the best stats if they were going to win a finals anyway, unless Chris Paul was like really so. I'm kind of torn on, do I go with the Phoenix part of this and take the second best option on a Phoenix team?
Oh, wait, on the Celtics thing quickly?
Yeah, back
Grandy
to the Celtics.
said they had the best road scoring differential since 2008. 08 Boston, 07 San Antonio, and 22 Boston. 3 best road scoring differentials in the last 20 years. That's not nothing.
No, the statistical profile stuff for Boston.
Yeah.
Because I'll try to break it down by month. Because sometimes I'll do after the All-Star break, and then I'm like, all right, it's too many games. And then it could be too short of games. Like Atlanta's profile on some of this stuff as they've closed. I guess you could argue that Atlanta, who's the most disappointing team in the East, has played their best basketball. They're 5th in offense, 11th on defense, which I think would shock people. Because it's like, wait, is Atlanta going to get left out of this whole thing? Or what if Atlanta were to knock out Brooklyn? What if we had kind of a Golden State in Brooklyn this year where you're so impressed with Golden State finding a way to stay alive and you go, oh, cool, play-in game. Now we have no Steph in the playoffs. And it sucked. And so then on the other side of this, imagine Durant in some one-and-done scenario. Is it crazy to think? It feels like Cleveland's been exposed here. So I know we're going to do more of this stuff.
I wish they were
a very good team. Yeah, I wish they had everybody.
Since January 1st, Phoenix 37-9, Boston and Dallas both 34-12, Memphis 33-12, and then Philly surprisingly 32-15. Anyway, you're up.
Okay.
Second
all
pick.
right. Yep. Took too long. Let me just take Giannis.
Our board was similar. I was hoping he'd be there for me at 3.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't give you, because now you got to kind of work against your own pick if you're going to take somebody else.
I think Milwaukee is the most likely team to make the finals from the East. Doesn't mean they will make the finals, but the fact that, they played it perfectly. Boston was either going to be the 2 or the 4, and Milwaukee kind of checkmated them by throwing away the game today. Now they get Chicago. They're going to house Chicago. They know Brooklyn and Boston, one of those 2 will knock each other off. They'll hope it's Boston that gets knocked off. Then they would have Brooklyn in round 2, and they would still have home court advantage. So pretty smart.
Yeah,
Milwaukee
Milwaukee,
put the Brooklyn miles on them. I thought I don't like when teams duck other teams, but there was a decent case for it.
Yeah, maybe we just in the new NBA, it's when you win a title, you're like, we're good. Where it used to happen if you won like 3, or you were in 2 of 4 finals, and this was another run where you were always kind of in the mix of the last 5 years, and you kind of accept. Maybe we just look at teams and they go, hey, we won a title, we're good. Because if you go last 15, and Bucks fans know this, statistically, there's a lot of stuff there that isn't very good.
Yeah.
Defensively, they've been a mess now for about a month again. They have a negative net rating over that time. They're below 500 against teams 500 or better. I mean, the only teams in the East that have I would say, a good record against teams 500 or better, Miami 6 over, Boston 7 over, and Toronto It beats good teams. They're 6 over. Everybody else, Philly's a couple over 500. Milwaukee's just below 500. Where when you go back west, the top teams are just better against better teams. And Phoenix is 31-13. 31-13.
They just thrash everybody.
Right. So,
and one of the best clutch teams in the history of mankind.
Go ahead. Yeah, it's your pick.
Milwaukee's the safest pick in the East. And, it worked out perfectly for them. I think there's 3 teams that really matter in the East, plus Miami. We'll see what we get from them. And Brooklyn and Boston, they get to avoid one of them. My third pick is Tatum. I really like that they went for the 2 seed today.
You think it means something? This is like Olympic stuff with Donovan Mitchell and Dwayne Wade, right?
I saw what you did there. No, I think Boston thinks we're really good. It also tells me that the whispers that Time Lord is going to be ready for round 1. I don't think they do this unless they feel like they're getting robbed for at least most of the round 1 series. If he's not in there, it's different. But I think with Rob, from what we've seen from Brooklyn, we talked about it in part 1, they're going to have Game 7 home. And as I said in part 1, I value having Game 7s at home. They'll have Milwaukee Game 7 home too if they can get by Brooklyn. It won't be fun to play KD and Kyrie. By the way, that is the best series of round 1, like hands down, right? Brooklyn, Boston.
Oh, yeah.
I mean that could be a conference finals.
All the stuff, especially how bad it looked last year. Granted, Jalen was hurt, but you know what he was picking him.
Right.
That was always kind of the team where, because of all the Kyrie stuff, you would just go. And I remember when we would be talking about the Celtics, going, I can't believe how soft this team is. Like, you just lost to the Nets again. And first thing you do is go hug Kyrie for 12 fucking minutes. So that part of it, now that they're good, now that they feel like they're good. And then I think there's some Rob Williams stuff if he comes back. Is the Bruce Brown matchup different because he stretches the floor and it takes Rob further away? How do they counter that? Because Brooklyn would probably go small and just try to surround everybody with shooters. I don't know. Just talking out loud here. All right. So
can I give you...
Yeah.
Can I tell Kyle to turn the camera on for 1 second here? There's a Boston history run that would tap into a lot of the ghosts from the past that is now laid out. And here it is. Nets round 1. Who beat them in 02 and 03 during the one fun time between the Bird era and the KG era? The Nets. And they usually beat the shit out of the Nets, but they had 2 conference finals losses against them. Round 2. Milwaukee. 1974 finals. What a battle.
One of the all-timers.
Al Cindor and no, he's Abdul-Jabbar at that point. Abdul-Jabbar and Cowens. Some great battles. And then in the 80s, who swept them? Who swept the Bird era Celtics? The 1983 Bucks. Then we go back. They sweep them in 86. 87's a classic series. A lot of history with Milwaukee. Round 3. What if Philly beats Miami? What if it's Philly waiting? Philly is actually Boston's rival. It's not the Lakers. Over the years, they played the most playoff series against Philly. They have the most history with Philly. I think they've had a big playoff series against them in every decade. Philly round 3 and then Phoenix round 4, the Triple OT 1976 finals. One of the great games in the history of the league. And Phoenix Boston, the rematch. So the ghosts of the past could rise up 4 straight rounds.
I wish you were still writing, because Ghosts of Girlfriends Past Celtics Playoff Style is an amazing headline.
That's it. I got the quotes. I'll do it tonight. I'm coming back. All right. You're up. You have the 4th pick.
You just over McConaughey's face superimposed on yours.
Yeah, but
just
a little hair in the bottom. Yeah.
Right.
Great.
I don't know. We're going to keep workshopping that. All right. So then that means I'll take Chris Paul. Sentimental. If the stats aren't overwhelming, the writers will love that stuff. Storyline stuff. Same thing as Iguodala getting the 2015 finals over Steph, which he shouldn't have. But I'll take Chris Paul, Phoenix factor.
So I had him 5th and I had Luka 4th, but now Luka has a strained calf. And I feel like I should stick with my initial list. Is it fair to change the list on short notice, or should I stick with the list I made a half hour ago?
Have you seen Kevin Costner in Draft Day? You got to be malleable, man.
Yeah, that's fair. I had Chris 5th. I think it's a great pick. You're basically bucking the odds because what is it? 60 if Phoenix wins the finals, 60-40 Booker versus Paul for finals MVP, I would say. Something like that. 62-38. I don't know. Good pick. I think the draft drops off.
You think there's a tier of the top 4?
I think we've just dropped because those were the 3 teams I like the most. Oh man. Now I'm afraid to take Luka. Luka was like my big sleeper. I was all excited the roadmap with him.
That looked bad.
Yeah, that didn't look great. The thing I liked about them was they had Utah round 1, and I think neither of us like Utah.
I like them more than you do.
The Mitchell fourth quarter stuff is pretty weird. The Athletic had a big piece about it the other day, and it backed up kind of what I've seen watching hoops. Like some of the Mitchell tight game stuff. I haven't liked the shot selection really for the last couple of years, and it's not the first time it's been brought up on this pod. But if it turns into my team's best player against Mitchell, I like my odds with my team's best player. He doesn't scare me in the last 5 minutes the way some other guys do.
No, he's got some Westbrooky in him. He does. I mean, he's had it now for a couple of years. I've called it. I mean, I've talked about this. I still really like him a ton because of
it's not getting better.
Well, I know, but then you also think of that ridiculous series against Denver. I mean, go back and look at some of the stuff that he did in the playoffs. So the fact that he actually has some really nice playoff stuff built in. But yes, the decision making, the forcing the issue thing, it can be bad.
He seems way too happy with 27-footers and pull up stuff, and instead of just doing the Dwayne Wade and going to the basket. I am going to take. You know what? I'm still taking Luka. I'm not going to be scared off.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm not going to be scared off by his strained calf thing. I'm not.
All right, that was going to set up for such a great podcast moment because I was going to take him. I was going to wait for you to pass, and then
you're trying to talk me out of it.
Yeah, I was just going to go. All right, I'll take Luka. Okay,
we
that's
have great
fine.
technology today. I was reading about Ben Simmons, trying to figure out how much of that Ben Simmons story was bullshit. Seems like 75% bullshit. I'm not saying the reports were bullshit. I think the team's telling the reporters that he might be back. But if you deep dive it, he's doing some treadmill I've never heard of. It's like it's a gravity treadmill.
Yeah, it's the one where it's it's an apron around your
You go
lowers.
into this big cube, so it takes off some stress on your lower back, and he's been working out on that. And then Nash was like, yeah, he's looked good in his 1v0 drills. He hasn't even played 3-on-3 yet. So, yeah, could he play 15 minutes in game 6 and game 7 of round 1? Like, sure, puncher's chance, but he's not going to be guarding Jason Tatum in round 1 of the playoffs. It's not happening.
I swear to God, in his contract, and I'm going to give Clutch credit for this, as soon as you get Ben Simmons, they meet with the social media team and they go, all right, look, we don't know if he's going to play, but probably not. But what we'd really like you to do is like every few weeks, just post something from the team feed of him hitting a jumper practice.
Right. Post something of him in practice gear.
Yeah, right.
Look sweaty.
Right, but just like deep jumpers, pure, wet. And we just get that out there. We just want to piss off everybody that he never takes those in games. We on the same page? All right, cool. Because Brooklyn had it going the other day. He had a 3, nice dribble drive, pull up, 15. Looked great.
It's going. Look out.
We're like, oh, cool. We have more videos of Ben Simmons hitting jumpers. Terrific.
Coming up next, I'm going to tell you why Ben Simmons can stretch the floor. According to this one Instagram video I saw. That's next. All right, are you up or am I? Oh, you're up. I took Luka. You have the 6th pick. So far we've had Booker, Giannis, Tatum, Chris Paul, Luka. And the 6th pick is?
Ja.
Man, we had the same list. I think it's good value.
It's great value.
What if he's 100% and they're just like, lay low, dude. You're a crazy person. We have to protect you from yourself. It's like when the baseball owners had to put in that like the crazy luxury tax stuff to protect the expensive owners from themselves. They had to protect Ja from himself. They're like, you're too crazy. You're up 30 diving into 4 guys on flying layups with 2 minutes left in the game. We'll see in the playoffs. I think that's what they did.
Like when you get to college and everybody signs up for the credit card, and I called my dad. I was like, hey, I got a UVM MasterCard. He's like, no way. He's like, you sure about that? And I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. He goes, what's the credit limit? I was like, oh, it's good. It's like $500. And he goes, yeah, okay. He's like, I'm not worried.
Yeah, sounds good.